These are dangerous times in the fragile and complicated relationship between Russia and the EU. The widely viewed as illegitimate Crimean vote to join Russia has the EPP Group and Parliament working overtime, seeking effective sanctions against Russia for its intrusions into the Ukraine. At a hearing on Russian trade with the EU's eastern neighbors, speakers mentioned Vladimir Putin's wounded pride. The overthrow of the pro-Russian Yanukovych government in Kiev had led to Putin's planned revenge in annexing Crimea. Now the EU needs scalable sanctions that don't spiral out of control, said Alois Peterle, an EPP member on the Foreign Affairs Committee.
I think what is needed is that once we really share the same European values and those who share European values, they don't threaten anybody in this world. So I think we need de-escalation, we need stability in democratic terms. We don't like weak Ukraine or weak Russia, nor weak Europe at all.
Of all Russia's immediate neighbors, Ukraine remains especially vulnerable to Moscow's threatened economic retaliation, from railway and pipeline equipment to trade embargoes and customs checks and closed borders with Russia. The stakes are high, said Katarzyna Volchuk of the University of Birmingham. She said a line was crossed with the Crimean secession referendum.
What we are seeing, what I call the aftermath or the shockwaves of the collapse of the USSR, it's delayed part 2, which is sort of unfolding in front of our eyes.
Tom Cassier of the Brussels School of International Studies agreed, but said Russia still needed to be offered some incentives in exchange for lowering the threat level against Ukraine.
These sanctions maybe have to be linked to some longer-term promises in case we get over the crisis and in case Russia is willing to make certain concessions. I think this is necessary in the longer term because otherwise we run the risk of having a further escalation.
The Crimean referendum, a referendum at gunpoint, as some have described it. Nonetheless, Peterle said the EU had risen above purely economic considerations to send a strong moral message to Russia.
I think that European Union with these decisions has shown that there is something beyond energy and economic interests. I don't count that we will see much lower volume of trade, which was increasing all these years. But I think that for more trade, we need more peace and cooperation-oriented politics.
Actions punishing Russian and Crimean officials by issuing travel bans may prove more symbolic than effective, given how much energy interdependence still exists between the EU and Russia and the military threat behind the standoff in Ukraine. Officials here say the situation remains complex and explosive. Find out more about the activities of Parliament's largest political force by going online to eppgroup.eu. Thanks for looking in, and see you again soon.